Hi, this is Randy Randall of No Age and host of the podcast Hyphenate with Randy Randall. I want to welcome our newest sponsor of the show, DistroKid. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. Hyphenate listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate. Again, that's distrokid.com/VIP/HYPHENATE. Go get your music streaming everywhere now. Welcome to Hyphenate Halftime for Monday, March 31st. I'm your host, Randy Randall. Join me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Aaron Farley. How do you do, my beanie friend?
How are you? we were just saying we didn't want to waste any valuable
pre-show
podcasting moments, but every time we never know, but we always beanie up on the same days. Or last time,
or no beanie, or like just messy hair.
Last time you had like kind of slicked your hair back a little bit or something, and I had just cut my hair. I think we're on the same same time
hair
frame.
Schedule. Our hair schedules have synced up at this point. We've
yes,
been podcasting once a week for over a year now. It's just bound to happen from time to time. Oh, are you there? There you go.
We don't even have to ask anymore.
Yeah, I remember this kind of thing would happen to Dean and I on the road doing No Age stuff. It was just inevitably like we'd show up at the airport like, oh yeah, the black jeans and black t-shirt. Yep, there you go. That's what we're wearing here. Gray shoes and blue jackets. Here we are. Okay, we're only going to be wearing the same clothes for the next 6 months. So
yeah, as the kids say these days, you are locked in. We're locked in. Get locked in.
This also happens with my wife as well sometimes. Well, I don't know if it's just out of similar style patterns or literally she's stealing clothes from my side of the closet.
Like, I thought I had those jeans too. Yeah. Nope.
Those are yours. Or in all honesty, I have grown out of things and they would fit her, so I just give them to her. I'm like, these don't fit me anymore. These probably still fit you. And she's like, oh, these are great. And I'm like, cool. Enjoy.
Slowly. It's nice. You just have to move it to the other side of the closet. It's easy.
Yeah. And then she complains like, man, my side of the closet's so full of stuff. I'm like, oh, really? Mine? I got nothing over here. Mine's pretty empty. I got the same 6 t-shirts I wear and the same 2 pairs of pants.
Like, well, maybe you should get rid of some stuff like I do. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Yeah. How's it going?
Good. What's happening? Wow. End of March.
You're at the end of spring break. I'm at the beginning.
Yes. Oh, yours is this week. That's great.
Yeah, ours just started. How was yours?
Exhausting.
You have little kids. Spring break for you is rough because little kids are like,
they need to be entertained.
Now you have to tell me where we're going, and you have to have my day planned out minute to minute. So you don't just feel guilty like going, why don't you guys watch shows for the first 4 hours of the day, and then we'll figure out something.
Cup of coffee
around 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, it's a lot of Dad. You want to play Minecraft? Dad, are you done taking a poop? Can you watch me play Minecraft? Can you watch me play Among Us? Can we play Among Us together? Are you done taking a shower? I need you to come look at something in Minecraft. I want to buy something in Minecraft. Can we buy something?
I'm hungry.
No, it's not even. No, I wish. Really? That'd be a normal thing. That's I could. They just want making food. It's more about this. There's this skin in Minecraft that costs like $14, but I don't know how to download it. Can you buy this for me? I'm like, constant. Hold on. It's 5:30 in the morning. Can that wait for a little bit?
It's so important too.
Can I tell no to you later?
Yeah. But it's Travis Scott.
Oh no, it's not even that. It's a banana or something. Yes.
Oh my God, the banana. Oh wait, that's a Fortnite thing. The banana.
Yes. Oh yeah.
They had like
Peely costume. Yeah, you need that.
Yeah, you have to.
It's all half creeper on fire and half creeper made out of lava with the side of an ice creeper. I don't know what the latest thing is we buy. I mean, the half of these things we buy, they don't even work. He tries to download them. I'm like, I think we have to update this thing. Or I set so many parental controls on the device that then I have to like find some other device to like give permission to this device.
I swear they're
I'm in this the not quite. I'm out of diapers. Hallelujah. Out of
amazing.
cribs and out of, what do you call those things? Prams, strollers.
Strollers.
Yeah, I'm out of all
Yeah.
that world, thank God. But I'm just now into the this other toddler kindergartner
Do
world
you
of
remember
stuff.
the first day that you got to jump in the car and you didn't have a diaper bag
Yes.
with the
I think
kids?
I think we
I
still would take it with
specifically
us and like we don't need it. Like, oh, it's still here in the car. And like, okay, I
oh,
don't
I
just in case.
remember I remember the day we were living in Silver Lake and we went down to get in the car and it was just me, both the kids, and
It's sweet.
I walked in we walked out and I'm like, I don't have anything with me. This is like, let's go. Like we're
done.
ready. Let's just
We're
go.
free.
We're jumping in the car. Where
No
do you guys
stroller
want to
and a
go?
diaper
It
bag.
was just like
The world is our oyster.
I'm like, I don't even care where we go. I just want to jump out of the car without like a backpack or some shoulder bag with diaper cream that I forgot, that the diapers are the wrong size
Wipes
and
the things and
oh my God.
towel or the blanket you have to lay down.
Yeah. Or you got to the
then
park
other
and
wipes.
someone else needed diapers, so you give them one, and then you get somewhere and you need a diaper and there's nobody, and you're like, oh, this is just the fact that not having to deal with any of that stuff
and an extra
anymore.
pair of clothes, a whole extra thing too, because even with all that stuff,
minimum,
it's going to explode, and you're going to have to just throw that whole onesie out.
Oh my God, minimum one pair of clothes. Yeah.
Yep. No, we're out. So we're out of that. I mean, yes. I can't. It's definitely better than in the past, but it goes in waves. Every age is its own reward and its own challenge, right?
Do you pay, do you play Minecraft with them? Yeah, definitely pay.
That's a lot.
That's why I stopped. Yes. I was like, well, of course
do you pay? Yes, I pay for a lot of things.
Yeah, emotionally, physically, monetarily, everything. Yes. It's all a payment. There's there's reward.
Minecraft? Yes. Yeah, I play a lot of Minecraft. I play a lot of Among Us. I'm good. I can get into a zone and find a spot, Okay. I like to mine things in Minecraft. I'm not a good spectator of watching him build things and then demanding me watch while the thing doesn't work for the next 20 minutes. And I'm like, as soon as I turn away, like, you're not watching, Dad. You got to watch me build this thing. I was like, okay, well, it doesn't look like you're done building it. But no, wait, just wait. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on.
But I'm gonna get it. Do you get frustrated when it's like building too slow? You're like, why aren't you building the? No. So no, listen. If you build you got to build the pillars first, and then you got to build.
No, the thing that annoyed me is we were on. This is very specific. Sorry,
I love this.
Without children.
No, this is good.
Hit your mic. Your mic's all fucked up.
Mine is right now.
Yeah, tap your mic. Fonz it. There you go. Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
This is better. I need a new mic cable. Okay.
What was I going to say? Oh, we're in survival world, right? Where it's like you can die and you lose all your stuff. Right. And I've been building this thing with him for a while. Got a whole house, and so, there's some consequence, which I can invest myself if there's a game with a consequence rather than the creative mode where you just give yourself diamond armor and diamonds everywhere and everything's made out of diamonds and it's great. And it's like, well, this isn't even a game. This is some weird. I don't even know what this is.
No, but this is real life. Nothing bad.
Well, there's some consequences, but then we're doing that, and then he's just like tearing everything down that I built, and then letting all the mobs in, and they're just blowing us up, and like we're just dying everywhere. I'm like, are we playing the same game? Are we on the same team, pal? Do you realize I just built all of that stuff, and now it's just all gone. I'm like,
oh my God,
let's just go to creative. Here you go. And then he just gives me the full. I'm like,
he's just trolling you.
It's like, so pal, you and me, we're going to try to survive this thing, right? That's kind of the agreement we made, the like abstract of the game that we want to win.
Yeah,
something.
Sure. But I also think it's funny to watch you get mad when I let all the trolls in.
Yeah. The skeleton just shoots arrows in your face.
You're like, what are all these pigs running around for? Like, I don't know. What do these do?
Like your teammate can hit you and like take away things, and then he starts hitting me. I'm like, why? Why are we doing this? Now I'm gonna lose all that stuff we just been spending the last 10 minutes like building a mine to get the diamond. Now we got the diamond, and before I can bring it back up, you're killing me.
Yeah,
and the diamond's just gonna disappear. So why did we spend 10 minutes doing this?
It is kind of
that's when I have to clock out. I'm like, okay, babe, I gotta walk away. You gotta look at the children. I can't look at the children.
I do think it is kind of interesting because that's what they would without Minecraft. It's kind of what they would do to you mentally. Anyway, they'd like always kind of troll you, and they want to see how far they can push you and make you angry, and then try to like come back and be nice, and okay, they're just testing the waters to find out like what's my how much emotional power do I have in this relationship. But then with Minecraft, you're actually just watching it happen real time.
Taking
You're
away
like,
your
well,
hearts as your
yeah,
sanity goes with your
totally.
with your heart level. Like, I have 0 hearts, but I'm about to die here, friend.
Well, my kids
Cool. Check this
loved,
out. Bunk. You're dead now.
yeah,
Like, oh, okay.
and my kids loved watching me be really bad at the games that they play, and just
Of
sitting there
course.
like just clowning me. And then especially with Fortnite, I tried to play Fortnite a couple times, and I'm like, so we're just trying to like shoot. We're trying to shoot the other people and be the last one to survive. Yes. Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
So what if I just hide? Like, yeah, you can just hide. Okay. Cool. I'm good at hiding. So I just would hide for a while, and then all of a sudden there'd be like, I'd get down to the last 10 people because all I did is hide, and it just let everybody like kill each
Sure.
other. And
But
I'm
the
like,
world's
okay, I'm
shrinking
getting
in on
out
you
there.
too. You can't
Yeah,
like
the world's shrinking
stay.
in on
Yeah.
you, and you also are now with the 10 best players in the game who
Oh,
were
right.
out of the 100, and they all know how to use their weapons and everything, and I don't know how. And they're just like, they're telling me where to go just so they
You'll
watch me
get
freak out trying
killed.
to get like the guns out of my backpack or whatever. And they're laughing, and they're telling their cousins about it. They're like, "Oh my god, you got to watch
That's
my
so
dad.
bad.
Hold on. No, dad, come play it. Come play it." And I'm like, "No, I'm
I'm not
not
a monkey.
I am
I'm not
not
here to
your
perform. Like,
circus freak.
you can't
So this is
sacrifice me for your
yeah."
amusement.
They're like, "But it's so great." And I'm like, "You're probably filming me. This is going to be one of those like dads on Instagram freaking out." I'm like,
Oh
I
Lord.
have no 3D, I have no like 3D spatial recognition for any of those games.
Oh
So I
God.
can't
All right.
ever
Got
tell
it.
where
Yeah.
I am or where I'm at or where the map is, or I don't know which way I'm headed, and so I just get so lost, and they're just cracking, like crying, laughing, being like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "No, I'm in the same spot." And they just think it's the funniest thing. And I'm like,
That's
"Yeah, this isn't
hilarious.
made for me.
If
I'm
I
good. I'm
play,
glad I never got
yeah.
addicted to video
Oh
games."
God, yeah. If I play any of these games for too long, I like start to like look at the world. Like, I'm like turning the corner, like, just like I'm like, well, why can't I like turn my head and turn my
Yeah.
body? It's like a motion, and your head swivels 360, and your body can go different places.
Yeah.
Eventually, I was like, I want to start doing that in real life. I can start to like orientate myself in that kind of way. Like, I need to look around, like check my six as I'm going down the hall.
That's funny.
Uh,
You gotta have
have your
your
head on a swivel.
yes, totally. Like your vision and your body are kind of unconnected,
Yes, yeah, exactly. Or
disconnected,
like
disconnected.
those chameleons with like two eyes to go different directions, and you can see,
Yes.
you can be looking two different places.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, Thomas Campbell. That
Yeah,
was a fun talk, fun interview. I
that
don't
was
know
a good
again if
surprise.
how inside baseball it all gets sometimes.
It was
Um,
awesome. No, I don't.
yeah.
I actually know. I'm trying to think. I feel like I've met Thomas maybe once or twice, possibly at the gallery or through the Monster Children
Oh yeah, that makes
conglomerate of
sense.
people from time to time. Um, but I mean, obviously know his work, and I'm very familiar with everything. But what I didn't know, and this is why I think I love these so much. Hey, I didn't know this was coming, so when I looked at it, I
Oh,
was like,
right. I didn't even tell
"This
you.
is awesome."
Surprise,
No,
surprise
no,
attack. Thomas
I
Campbell
like this surprise, like the
coming at you.
Thursday, like, and then but I didn't know he started out writing. I didn't know
Oh
he's.
yeah,
I guess I didn't know that about him. I
he's
know the
so visual,
films,
right?
and I
Yeah,
know the photography, and I know the painting, and the skateboarding and stuff. But
yeah.
I didn't know he started like kind of as a writer. Um, but I do wish that I loved everything he talked about, and then I was like that when he said that he's like, yeah, probably my biggest um my what would you say, like my most beneficial thing is my drive. He's like,
Like
he just
being
had a lot of drive,
ambitious.
just being ambitious and having drive, and like I mean, the fact that he's like, yeah, I was just cleaning fishing pots at when I was 9. I was like, 9? Oh my god. Yeah, you did have a lot of drive. Every time he's like, yeah, at 13 and going to shows and doing all that stuff. I love it. I loved all of his stories about Yeah, music and collecting like being one of the only kids his age that had a job, so he just was like collecting records when he was like 12 years old or something and had thousands of records. Just insane. I love it. It's
Yeah, I
amazing.
mean, it totally all makes sense. You know what I mean? With like just the crazy stuff that he's pulled off in his career and in his life. You know what I mean? And I think being part of scenes, I didn't really get into that too much. I was curious about it, but it's also one of those things of like, okay, it's kind of a friendly conversation and checking in on inspirations and
Hmm.
biographical sort of you know um structure to the interview. But part of like the alleged gallery in like New York and like those days of things, and then Beautiful Losers and that kind of world too, and then sort of carving out his own space in that thing too, sort of being a very much individualist artist and a part
Yeah,
of a
I
few
mean,
different types of communities.
you could definitely do a part two of the later life of Thomas
Yes.
Campbell. I think
Yeah.
like because
Oh, I mean, I find myself too like running out of time so much. I look at like 45 minutes into a conversation, and and it's one of those things I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's start wrapping it up here. And then I'll have, it's coming to me now, like, or the interviewer or the interviewee, the person I'm interviewing is like, oh, but we haven't even talked about the last like 20
yeah,
years of, so I'm like, yeah, sorry, this is all the time we got. I don't want to keep it too
yeah.
long.
We talked about fishing and a record collection and
Yeah, it's
and a lot of
as far as we can get in this.
but what I thought was cool about it, and I think that this is the great thing about podcasts, but I think that how loose, like how you let the conversation just loosely go wherever it's going to go, is that I think it's much more interesting than having someone like kind of hammer out their biography, even though that might be, if they want to do that, then that's also interesting. But if I just like that he just wanted to talk like loosely, he almost had every time a subject would get brought up, he kind of had an anecdote or a story that went along with that was like, not just talking about like, oh, I was into punk rock and blah blah blah, but that it was more like, here was my journey and why, and here's the kind of bands I was in, but then I listened to the Doors, and then that I was like, wait, there's this other music out there, and just going that way instead. I think that's the thoughts and feelings of all these creative people, and like emerging in a natural way is more interesting than just necessarily hearing their like biography, you know.
Yeah, my hope is always to just give like a insight of the person. You know what I mean, through like a friendly conversation. Like you might get more because I've done a handful of interviews over the years, and when someone's kind of just grilling you on your Wikipedia, you
Yeah,
definitely you can go into a zone where you're kind of like, oh yes, I know the next thing, like,
yeah,
or even if it feels like it's some type of like journalistic type of like, that's a good question. Let me think about it. I think,
yeah,
and then you're like, kind of like, then they're leading you down their garden path, and you're just kind of like whipping stuff out. You're like, I wish I had like 3 hours to kind of think about this and get back to you because you're asking good questions that are philosophical or meaningful,
yeah,
and I'm just waking up and having coffee, or I'm about to go do something else. We're going to the
yeah,
studio or on tour. I'm at a truck stop. Like I can't really like
yeah,
feel it out. So I don't ever want to like do like the superficial interview, but I also don't want to do the like, I have an angle. Here's what I think
yeah,
you are kind of thing. And a lot of, I think for better or worse, a lot of the interviews are with people I already know and have had many conversations with and have met in friendly social circumstances. So I think it's hopefully something that we can get to that maybe hasn't already been, you know, said a million times
yeah.
and
Well,
has
there's an amount of
a different,
trust.
yeah.
I think there's an amount of trust there that you can. I mean, I know you joke about it being inside baseball, but I think that is kind of the benefit, because there's trust there already of like, they know where you're coming from to a certain extent, and most of the time you guys are coming from kind of a similar place or thought process that put you in a room together sometime in your past, or that already, so you already have that there, and you're not just like, oh, here's some person from a magazine that I don't really trust, but I'm going to trust them enough to answer them some questions, but like, I hope this doesn't go awry. can, you know. I mean, I've been interviewed even when we had that gallery and we had all that stuff happen with Jason Lee and that Polaroid getting stolen and all of that stuff.
Oh
We
man,
got
hold on.
interviewed by
Hit your mic again. This
oh,
is a good story. I don't know.
how's it,
There you go.
where's
That's
it
better.
coming? Oh, there. Okay,
Yeah.
I won't move. I'll be like, I'm
we have to
floating in. I'm now floating in my studio.
start a
No.
GoFundMe to get you a new
Oh
mic
my god.
cable.
Well, I just gave the 2 other ones to Curtis for he had a little event up here. I don't want to say it, a little
Oh,
event.
sure.
But it was a small. It was like 20 people, and a friend of his came up and read stories and
He needed
from a
mic
book that he
cables.
wrote, and he needs some mic cables. And so
There you
now I'm realizing that I should probably grab one of those instead of this one. Anyway, but yeah, when Jason Lee, a Polaroid kind of famously got stolen from our
Tell the story.
gallery.
I don't think you've told the story on the
I don't
on the
think I
show.
have. There's a couple touchy parts, but that it was for the second year we had the gallery and we did those big friends.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of our gallery was that there were 5 of us that started it, and at the very beginning we put a list of all of our friends who made visual art, and the very first list was like 70 people between all of us. And so we realized, like, okay, well, this is a good start. What we should do is start with, we'll ask all of the people that are on this list to if they want to show one piece, and it just had to be smaller than like 24 by 36, and it just had to be framed in a white frame. That was it. So, and it was a lot of photographers and painters and illustrators and all sorts of people. And it was great. The first one was very successful, and I mean, successful in the fact that a ton of people showed up, but it's also when 70 people in LA are involved with something, and all of those people some of them have fans, and most of them have a good number of friends, that a lot of people show up. So that's kind of what kicked off the gallery. So then we did that, and then for the second year we did another Friends show, and then this one, because we had a gallery, we even have more people, so it was like 100 people, maybe one piece per person, and everything was just put up in this little tiny room, kind of salon style. And Jason Lee had a Polaroid of Dennis Hopper up, and it was not for sale, but it was just to be shown in the show. And it's an amazing Polaroid, and one of his idols, and Dennis Hopper had died a couple years earlier, and well, at the end of the night, someone came in and said, "Hey, someone stole the Dennis Hopper Polaroid, is gone." And
it was for sale.
no, it
All the
wasn't
stuff
for
was for
sale.
sale. Oh, okay.
His
Not all the artwork
that was not, but he
I
had
see.
like decided that's what he wanted to show, and we were like, yeah, of course. It's Jason
Yeah,
Lee.
you're not going to say
and
no to it, but at the
no,
same time,
no.
you're also like, we're a sketchy art gallery on a
Well,
road with a big event. I mean, you're just not like there's like security out front. Or
it wasn't.
Beverly
We're
Hills.
not.
It's like
Gagosian,
anybody
and we're not.
with a skateboard and a 40 can come in off the street.
Yeah, and there's probably by the end of the night, there's probably 300 people who come through, and but we had never had an issue even once. Like, we had one time that like a local kid kind of came in and was like giving someone a hard time, and kind of drunk and whatever, but that even ended up fine. Like, it was diffused and it was okay. And we had actually gotten some support from the local, like, people in Highland Park, some of the families, and which was one thing that we were worried about, is the gentrification thing, and we were all pretty broke at the time, and had pooled some money together and had offices in the back, and so we weren't trying to make some big fancy business thing. We were trying to make a community space, and we had some like older dudes that had their kids and walked by and like, oh, what is this place? And that it was this art gallery, and we walked them through it and told them, and they were like, oh man, this is so cool. There used to be an art gallery here in the 80s, and there was actually a little gallery here like 20 years or 10 years ago. So we had kind of support, and it was that kind of place. Anyway, this Polaroid gets stolen. we kind of hear maybe who it could have been like a couple days later, but it just becomes so hard, weird, and difficult to track anybody down. And yeah, anyway, it was gone. So it goes through all of these. We get these like emails from some kid in Mexico that's like, hey, I saw these people. They were bragging about that they had a Polaroid. If you send me $1,000,
Oh no! Now you're like, okay, wait a minute.
I can get it for you and fly it home and all these things. We're like, what? Wait, what is happening? This is
No,
the crazy. And so then we're trying to find, and we got like this private, it's like we got a private investigator. Jason was all mad, and for good reason, he's like,
sure.
And then, or someone got, I don't know, this private investigator showed up, but then he was basically just searching on Google, and we're like, dude, we could do this. And it kind of shows up in the meantime, like, or it doesn't show up 2 years later. Every year we kind of have, a conference about it with us and other people, and it's just not showing up. Cut to Justin passes away, and the third year he had passed away, and 3 or 4 months we had shows booked for the next couple months, and then the last day would have been the 4-year anniversary. So we have one final friend show after Justin passes away, and I had kind of jokingly said, watch, Justin is going to find this thing from the grave. and so we have this talk, we're getting together, and all of us that have the gallery, and our friend is over there, and Jason or someone had hired, I don't know how this person got involved, but another private investigator gets involved.
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
I mean, he was better than Dog the Bounty Hunter, but he's a famous private investigator.
Oh no.
who wrote the book on Biggie and Tupac. His Greg, I forget his last name. You can look him up. Greg something. He used to be a LAPD officer, and then he became a private investigator, and he had written this whole thing about Biggie and Tupac. Great guy, like super great guy. He randomly calls asking about, he was like, hey, I don't know if I got a lead, but we had gotten a lead on a couple of these people. He calls and he goes,
Randall Sullivan? Would it be Randall Sullivan?
No, it was Gary.
Greg Kading?
Yes, Greg Kading.
Okay.
Yeah. So he calls, and on the phone, he's like, God, I just wish I had, like, I wish I knew the timeline of when these people were there. And our friend was there who was at the house, was like, oh, I have texts from them from that night on my phone.
Of the people who took it.
Of the people who were presumptively.
Everyone's assuming those are the people. Yeah.
Yeah. Who we had started hearing like rumors about. Mm-hmm. And he's like, wait, what? And she's like, oh yeah, I can go back in my texts. He's like, from 3 years ago? She's like, yeah, I have the same phone. And it was like a, Bluetooth or whatever, not Bluetooth, but old days before iPhones. And she goes back, she has the exact timeline of when these people texted her and everything. She has their names and everything. And so he gets that information. He goes to where they live, and he starts questioning, just showing up at their door and questioning him. And he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. So I'm like putting up stuff for this final show. And, people, a lot of the artists are not from LA. They're from San Francisco and New York and stuff. So we're getting in all these boxes, and I open up this box that's postmarked from San Francisco. And I open it up, and I'm like, hey, is this a joke? And it was the Polaroid in a box, in an unmarked box that showed up. Like, they didn't put a return address on it.
It's probably smart when you're mailing back stolen.
Yeah, smart. But we knew what post office it came from and everything, and it was within the realm of possibility of these people that were getting questioned.
Wow. But not until
we got it back.
The Biggie Tupac investigator on it.
Yeah, and he was
involved.
like so psyched. I called him and I'm like, "Hey, Greg, we found it." And he was just like, "You gotta wait, what?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "This never happens. This never ever happens." I just remember him on the phone, and he's like, "This." He's just like, "You gotta understand. This is the most thankless job. This never happens. We never find stuff." And I'm like, "You probably shouldn't."
I'm really bad at my job, you guys. I am like horrible at my job. I charge a lot of money. I know it looks like I'm good, but no, this never happens.
But he was like, "Oh my God, hold on. Okay, where are you?" And I'm like, "I have to go pick up my kids from daycare. So
oh my God,
I am going to put this in a backpack and I'm going to be wearing the backpack for the next 2.5 hours." I'm not leaving it here.
And the whole idea is to get it back to Jason. That's the
totally. But then Jason was like, I don't remember if Jason was he was there, but I'm like, I have to go get my kids. So I'm going to have this. So I had it in a backpack and I drove.
The investigator wants to get it and he's the one who's to hand it to Jason.
Well, we're going to meet back at the gallery, but they can't meet there for like 3 hours. And I'm like, I'm not letting this thing even out of my sight.
Right.
So
you don't just leave it on the table and lock the gallery. And I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah. So I have it in my backpack. I go and I drive to pick up my kids in Glendale and I go like drive them home, or maybe I even brought them back. I think I just brought them back. Then we just sat and waited at the gallery, and then Greg and Jason showed up and they were like, oh my God. Or no, just Greg showed up. Greg and his wife, I think. And then he was just like, you don't even know. Like, this is the craziest. This is insane. And then, and then he took it to Jason and Jason got it back and stuff. But
wild.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Wow, but anyway, story. that whole story, I haven't told that story in a long time. By the way, someone was I think one of those sketchy dudes who stole it was trying to make a film about
him stealing Jason Lee's.
Yeah, and we all got like,
because you we all got like right?
weird texts about.
Well, like you wanted your like sign off on it. Is it cool if I like make a movie about
this?
Yeah,
I mean, I just want to say they were just sketchy dudes. They're just sketchy dudes, and they took it to. They really did. So the from what we've heard, they really did take it to Mexico. So that email that we got from someone in Mexico was probably real. We don't know who it came from, but it really was in Mexico under this dude's bed for like 1.5 years.
Whoa.
And yeah, I don't know. It made its way back. Who knows? But yeah. And then just recently we got like emails or something that someone wanted to do like a movie about it. And I'm like, hey, this is not an exciting movie at all. Like, what are you going to do? Like,
there's a way you can make it exciting. You can make it exciting.
I mean, maybe a short or something, but there was not like literally nothing happened. What ended up, the craziest thing is that everyone went out searching for it. Right. And they went out and it had turned out that they had ditched it in the bushes behind, like in the block behind the gallery for like 4 hours. It was just in the bushes.
Oh, funny. And
we could have, like, if we would have walked by, we would have found it, and the whole thing would have just been, no one would have even known, wouldn't even have said anything.
I'm such a big believer in the like retrace your steps thing of like, you know what I mean? If like something happens or something's fucked up, if you catch it, as soon as you catch it, to like just stop what you're doing. And like you probably could find stuff, you know what I mean? Like I think when I was younger, I'd be like, I don't know, I lost my sunglasses. I don't know what happened, and just keep walking, keep going. But if I would have stopped right then and just walked back 10 feet, they're probably sitting somewhere, or like, where was the last place? When did I take them? Where was I just sitting? Like this happened when we went to see a play, and we'd gotten lunch and we're about to go to the car, and I'm like, I don't have my sunglasses. I was thinking I was going to get my car and put my sunglasses on. I'm like, I don't have them. Like, they're still at the theater. And then it's like, well, the theater's probably closed. Well, what are you going to do? There's sunglasses. And then I was like, no, I'm going to walk back there. And they were like, you can't get in. I was like, hey, I was just here a half hour ago or an hour ago. We saw the show. I was sitting here, did this. And they took me to Lost and Found. And the lady, she's like, can you describe them? I'm like, they're black sunglasses, you know? She's like, oh, these? I was like, yes, those are them. Totally got them. But it was that moment where like, I'm sorry, I'm going to be an asshole. I'm going to kind of like chase this thing down. But you know, if I take 5 minutes to do this, it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, and I do wish, like, because I wouldn't have thought someone was dumb enough to just
Of
throw
course.
it in the bushes and wait
You
because they're
you think it's
and
a
then
cat burglar or someone's
yeah,
international man of
because
mystery has
yeah.
absconded with it.
Well, and what had happened is that there were two dudes, and one of them who didn't actually do the thieving, but was part of it and didn't say anything. He's the one that Greg ended up questioning, and that dude just broke
It's just
instantly because he's like, that thing is like probably valued at a lot more money than what a misdemeanor is, right? And the kid just was like, well, okay, here's what happened,
oh, right.
but I
Okay.
don't
Oh,
have it.
this is a felony,
But he was
like,
like, it got taken and then it was ditched in the bushes for like all night. And then once everybody left, we came back and got it. And I'm like, God, we could have walked around the block like 4 times and found it. But anyway, this whole story ends up being like the reason why this even started was that before we found it, the LA Times did like, it got out, and the LA Times like tech or interviewed all of us, and they were
mhm.
very nice, and and then oh my God, they just not
Ripped you
tore
guys
us
a new one.
apart, not really, but like just
Hey,
in this
is this your
like
first
wait,
art gallery? Have you ever
yeah.
shown art for money? Yeah.
No, it wasn't even that. It was
Nobody's
just like it was like these are young kids with no like like not no regard for anything, but just like party kids, like all this stuff. And I'm like,
hmm.
wait, we didn't talk about this. And also that's not even true. Like three of these
We're
people are
adults.
very
With
successful
children.
adults
Yeah.
with children,
We own
and
property. We are.
we're all like working artists. And I would have to say that the fact that we had a gallery there probably brought a lot of people to Highland Park that hadn't been there before.
Yeah.
And like,
Gentrifiers. Yep.
yes, gentrifiers. But it was this thing of like, I went, oh, I'm never doing an interview again. Like it just brought me back to that
Yeah.
whole thing of like I'm never talking to anyone that I don't know about. I mean, maybe I will never do anything important enough to be interviewed by someone like the LA Times or whatever anymore. But also of like, oh, I see, like, of course, also they're the LA Times and they're going to be on Jason's side.
Oh, I see what
of
you're
the
saying.
thing of being like, these losers lost his thing, and they're being hard to they can't get it back, and they're like idiots, and it was just like, oh wow, this is
like,
harsh.
how is this? Yeah.
Okay, this is
rather than you and Jason both being victims of a crime of a shitty criminal, it became again a gallery against artist kind of thing. Like this, that's a strange pairing of sides. I don't know, man.
It was a
All
weird
of that
one.
stuff.
But anyway, that
I'm
being
sure,
said,
like,
interviews.
your world,
You're a good interviewer.
Oh,
Don't screw me
next-
over, Randy.
Yeah, no. My
It is fun to tell
so-called
that.
co-host.
Yeah. My so-called co-host is 5 minutes late again. What is he doing?
Lord,
It's funny.
what was I gonna say? The oh, I don't even know. Yeah, it's well, just our world or any world in general. You realize like how petty shit is too. Like who the fuck knows? Like there could have been like well-established galleries talking shit about you guys, and that's enough to stir up like a spin on an article. You know what I mean? Where it's like, let's take down these punks. Like the thing that was fucked up is I didn't understand how that worked until I saw Spaceland, like Mitchell from Spaceland, the guy that owned the Echo and shit, would call the cops on galleries that would have bands play. If anybody was having live music, even if it wasn't for money, but like anything going on Sunset Boulevard, there was like there was a few different kind of like, DIY sort of like galleries or just whatever. Like
for not having the right
community
permits.
spaces and stuff. But because he's the gallery that wants the bands to come and play there so they can sell beer. And these are like whatever, you know what I mean? But I think there was a lot of stuff going on around the time.
Yeah.
In that little zone of Echo Park and, lots of other stuff and bands that he wouldn't be booking anyway. It's stuff that's too under the radar or too weird to be booked at this like proper,
and also
like,
they're
bar
booked
venue
every single night.
Yeah. And this isn't really
Like,
competing but whatever,
yeah,
regardless, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
just like realizing the like the backhanded or the inside
the
world of stuff where you're just
pettiness.
like, yeah, exactly. You're gonna shut down this like weird art gallery with like, maybe 50 people at the most on an opening night, just because it's seen as competition for
Because you don't
nightlife
have a
on
cabaret
your
license.
street or whatever. Yeah. So shit like that, I'm sure, you know what I mean? There's at some point it's just
Oh my god,
it's all
goofy.
it's all shitty. Everything's shitty all the time.
Never do an interview
No.
unless it's with Randy,
No.
Randall, and
No,
Hyphenate.
no. Oh, but the interview, yeah, but the having an angle on an interview. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like Dean and I have definitely gotten thrown under the bus a couple times with different things, or even just gotten bad reviews, which is fair. Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
it's everyone's prerogative to write whatever they want to write,
Oh,
and
we got plenty of
not
bad
everybody loves
reviews. Yeah.
things you do. Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to
I'm
be loved
fine
by
with that.
everybody,
Yeah.
and that's just what it is. But there is a part of me like, well, did they see the show? Did they like why did they talk to, like, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
sometimes you get so sidelined. You're like, I don't remember anything like that. That's really odd.
Yeah.
Like, I wish somebody would have, at that point I wish somebody would have talked to us or something, or like, did we,
Yeah.
huh, what? like, like I'll take the heat when it's deserved, but when it's
Yeah.
like just so out of the blue kind of thing, just like I don't even know what they're talking about. This sounds like
Yeah.
they were at a different show, or they're talking about a different band, but you know.
Quiet, no energy, no age.
For something, you know what I mean? I don't know. There's definitely times when it's like, okay, I'll take the hit, but otherwise, yeah. Um,
That's so funny.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think it's good. At the end of the day, too, like, they say like no press is bad press. You know what I mean? Even
Yeah.
even getting it right up into like Times calling you guys the party art gallery thing probably brought more people in.
Yeah.
With all those partying people that
Be
read the
like,
LA
that sounds fun.
Times. Yeah,
I want to
those
go
LA
steal some
Time
art.
those LA Time readers also liked to hit the kegs and
Yeah.
in Northeast LA.
Red
Yeah.
Cup Gallery.
Yeah, there we go. That's good.
Yeah. That's funny.
I think it's one of those things. What was I watching? I was just watching something, and it was like it was about like video games, and there was like some gnarly video game in the 90s that just was like went to like the Senate, like went to a Senate hearing on like children's games. It was like Mortal Kombat, and this other one that was like these like black clad like home invaders, like they were just like killing people in their house. But they said that going going into the being torn apart by senators and congresspeople like was the best thing for their business. They made millions after that. Like it was a kind of so-so
Oh, I'm
game that
sure.
didn't really get a lot of attention, and then after it was like it's written up in every news story about how violent and horrific and terrible this game was, and all the senators and Capitol Hill lined up against it, and it just went on. The trial went on for months. That it just was like, oh yeah, we sold so much more games after that.
It's
So
amazing. I mean, I love those all of the stories in the 70s and 80s about, it's like Black Sabbath and like any of those metal bands,
or
like that their
yeah,
managers
Alice
would just
Cooper,
make up,
like
yeah, like Alice Cooper,
yeah.
and they'd just make up stories of like, okay, let's see, let's call in that Alice Cooper, like did whatever,
Yeah,
like it
on
was some
stage last
horrible
night.
thing
Yeah,
on stage last night,
and then
or
now
they
it's
would actually like,
lines around the block for the
yeah,
rest of the week. Yeah,
or they would actually call in complaints to the cops to shut the show down. Like that, and he found out the manager actually made the phone call
yeah, exactly.
because they were going to play 3 nights in a row, and they knew that everyone would want to see what happened last night or whatever.
Yeah, they hadn't
So
sold out
funny.
the rest of the night, so it was a soft sell. They had two more shows to fill, so
Yeah.
shut the show down and get a
Yeah.
newspaper and make sure you get a reporter there
Indecency.
with photos. We need a photographer and a reporter here, and the cops. Okay, I'm gonna call this all
Yeah.
in. Yeah,
We got
there's a great I'm gonna remember it wrong, but like a breakdown of marketing, that
yeah.
it's like if you have a circus and you paint signs for the circus, that's advertising. If you talk to the press, if you call a newspaper and tell them there's a circus coming to town, that's PR, or that's PR. And if you invite something like that. But if you invite dignitaries down, then that's like, you invite the mayor to come to the town. If the elephant, tramples on a flower bed, then that's this side, what I mean? That's all the different versions of how you can break up. Like there's publicity, there's marketing, there's advertising, there's, all these different ways of doing it. But you
That's amazing.
put that into any context of like art or music or anything else, like how to get a name for yourself. People have asked me about even this podcast that we're doing now. Like, aren't you afraid like you're going to say something and like get canceled? Because I think people read these stories about like Joe Rogan or some
Yeah.
billionaire like saying something shitty and then they get more billions of dollars. And I was like, no, like I'm not worried about anything. If anything, that seems to be working out really well for those guys. I should be so lucky that anybody tries to cancel us. Not that I'm going to say something that I don't believe in or that I'm going to say something fucked up, but it's like all of those things work out very well for the people who are like, say they say terrible things. It's the same like the Howard Stern thing. The people that hate you listen twice as long as the people that actually like you.
Yeah.
So
just to see what you're going to say next.
Yes.
Just to see
exactly.
what they can hate about you next. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think of what we do is really that outrageous. No. But in terms of being afraid of like, oh my God, like somebody might really see the real me, or like it was like, I've been trying to do that with my art for 30 years. I want somebody to see the real me. I've been trying to get to some sense of self-expression where my my real self can be seen by the masses. I would hope, in some artistic way, if I can talk on the microphone for 2 hours a week and you somehow decipher something that may be akin to an honest person inside of me. Thank God. That'd be great. Like, I feel like I really know this guy. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Write in, tell me who he is, because I don't know who he is. I don't know who I am.
I'm happy. Congratulations for thinking this is an act for sure. That I've been like really like crafting this persona forever. What looks like, speaking of crafting a persona, mm-hmm. Is that I just saw a trailer for
the Bob Dylan movie. No.
We're not getting back onto this. Randy, I liked the movie.
That's fine. It's fine.
It was sweet. It was sweet. It was sweet. No, no, but about Thomas Kincaid, the painter, the mall painter. The guy that painted all like the houses. He called himself like the master of light. And he did all the houses out in the forest, and they were like fairy houses. And but they would
sell them at the mall, like in the 90s or 80s.
Yeah, don't you remember this? Like you'd go to the mall, and there'd be like one store. It'd be like a Thomas Kincaid store, and you'd look in, and it'd be it's just like prints and paintings and all this. But I never knew about him. It always seemed weird. It's like, who's buying these? I don't think I've ever seen anyone walk out with one, but they're in all these different malls. But
is there a documentary about him?
Yeah, it looks like there's one coming out, and it turns out that he had crafted this persona of this like evangelical, like just trying to be the best human,
God,
like
they
God fearing. Well, not severed heads, but they found out that it was like an act.
Ruse.
It was an act, but that he has this vault of super dark paintings.
Oh, well, thank God. Okay, all right. He actually used his art to express himself in some way, rather than just doing schlocky Lord of the Rings fucking paperback bullshit.
Yeah, but they were talking about his like in the 90s.
Star Wars stuff, parodies of Thomas Kincaid's.
Well, he was making like hundreds of millions of dollars off of this thing, and everyone like me was like, who is buying these? But then you see these people that he was pitching to these evangelicals as kind of this like get back to old American values kind of thing.
Yeah, but back in the 80s.
Well, not MAGA, like more like who was the guy who used to illustrate all the stuff, the family dinners, the turkey dinners,
Rockwell?
And yes, like to get back to that, like, well,
but that's what I'm saying. That's
Rockwell kind of.
I mean, that doesn't exist. That's a whitewashing of history.
Yes,
yes. Brighter, better time. I'm saying art news,
but not in like a political, not in like some political way. Just of like, no,
everything's political.
It's like this Christian values.
Yeah,
but that he was doing that, so he had this whole underground art collecting, like these people who had 15, 20, 30 of his paintings and were just like these huge Thomas Kincaid collectors and stuff. Yeah, it looks fascinating. I love it.
I've seen, yeah, there's Art News had a story up 4 days ago. The film premiered at South by Southwest this year.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
the unseen paintings are good. They look
I
better.
I haven't I didn't even look them up.
I'll
I heard
send you
they're dark.
I'll send you the thing. No, well, I mean it's like high school dark. Like,
Yes. I love that he
you
could do
know,
these amazing, beautiful, big paintings, and then his his like personal work is just kind of crappy high school paintings.
yeah, it's not
It's like,
particularly
wow,
like
I just can't get out of this. Like this master of light thing doesn't work when I have a noose around the neck.
yeah, no, they're like flat kind of
Oh,
impressionistic
that's funny.
self-portraits and
Oh,
bullshit,
that's great.
but it'd be so great. I was just trying to think of the other thing in the mall, not Thomas Kincaid, but like Ann Geddes. I had to look up the babies in flower pots. Like,
Oh,
do
the
you remember?
photos?
Yeah, do you remember these
Oh
this
yeah.
photos of like the babies falling asleep on gourds and in flower
Oh,
pots
she
with little
made
flower things? And
millions.
I want to see her
Millions.
unseen artwork.
Oh my god, there isn't any.
Like, where's the dark
She
side of
figured it
Ann
out.
Geddes?
Oh
That
my
would
god.
that, that would be the my
Like
mad TV sketch.
little babies
Like,
in a
it's like
Venus flytrap.
the real dark side of Ann Geddes. Just a factory of babies. She just has she's just buying babies online on the dark web to put in flower pots.
Waking up in a snake's mouth. Speaking of, we found a snake outside my classroom the other day. It was very exciting.
That's gonna be huge.
It was very exciting. It was a little bull. It was or a gopher snake. Oh,
Yeah.
It was intense.
Oh wow. Was everybody okay? No one got bit.
No one got bit. No, it was one of the teachers who actually, I guess, he owns a snake, and he just walked over. He's like, it's just a little gopher snake. And he just walked right up and just like plunked it up, walked away with it, and I was like, I need to be a real man. I was scared of this little thing. It was like
makes you question your manhood more than like not picking up an animal.
Yeah, it was like 14 inches. You know, it was like a little longer than a foot long. It was a tiny little thing, and I'm just like, I need to take like a snake training class or something. I need to be able to. Oh yeah, no, I do. I need to be able to just go walk out, pick that thing up, walk it into the classroom so everybody screams, and they'll remember it forever. I need to make those memorable moments. I don't need to call some other teacher to come do it for me. Come on.
I go through waves of like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. Then I'm like, no, God, I can't look at this thing. There's those moments of like, whatever, I don't care. Like I'm so tired. Yeah. Like just whatever. If it bites me, it bites me. I don't care. Let's just move this thing. And then I'm like, if I've had coffee, I'm like, oh wait, I don't want to get bit. What am I doing? Let me think. We can come to better judgment about this thing.
Yeah. Speaking of better judgment, Thomas Campbell,
a man of much better judgment.
Much better judgment. No, I did love that. I loved when he just talked about that. And I feel like that whole crew of people, when he was like talking about calling Spike Jonze and talking about Andrew Reynolds and all these people of like that they've found this way to make sure that they're doing the most fun thing, or that they always at least have that in their back pocket of like, okay, we're doing all the like big stuff or whatever, but there's always this like Spike Jonze is always still working. Like he'll still do like a tiny little project with Jeff McFetrich to pitch like some goofy little thing that they do on the internet, or whatever. It's like some fun, like, no, we actually got into this because we're like BMX skateboard kids and we still just want to do that stuff. And I feel like Thomas is that same way, like watching the movies, and he's definitely not making like commercial movies. Right. No. He's like making movies that are about feeling and the movement and fun and like people pushing themselves, but it's all under his terms. And there it's like shot the way he wants to shoot it and choosing musicians he wants to work with, which your music for those is awesome. I think it was
so much fun.
You did didn't one of them, you showed it at Zebulon?
Yes, that's the only time Dean and I ever did the live score after it came out. We did a couple like impromptu things in France or Spain, or
Yeah.
was it France? No, we were in France. When he was working on it, he had like an assembly cut, and we kind of did some live jams
Yeah.
to the film, sort of improv things. And then afterwards, it was this kind of like question of like, well, are we gonna? Is he gonna do screenings? But it wasn't like we had a budget to really like get
Yeah.
us around, to go do these things. So it was kind of like, and we were at that point, I think, working on a record or something. It was before the pandemic. I think we kind of had our own line, our own schedule of stuff we were working on, trying to get ready for tour. So we couldn't just take off from that and go fly in on our own dime to go. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
a kind of fun. It was a hard one. So I had told him, I was like, just have different people improvise. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to do a screening in like wherever, in Texas or New York, like just get different musicians to play it. Like, that's part of the fun thing. Like, where it's not like, I didn't feel like we were so authorial. It's his voice, what I mean? It's his film.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be cooler if there was different. I think, like everything, like, you have a different band play different music to a movie. You know what I mean? It kind of like changes the vibe of it all. I think that's kind
Well,
of
it's
fun.
such a good movie to do that with because it was so like it was such a vibe
And
of a
that's kind of how
movie.
we came to it too, as an improv thing. And then after we did that a few times, then he came down to LA and we recorded it at our old studio downtown at Gaucho's.
Mhm.
And then, and he sort of directed us in ways, and then we gave him a bunch of alts and options and stuff, and he edited it together. So it wasn't as though we composed these like pieces that needed to be, you needed to play this series of notes at this time of the film. You know what I mean? It was all kind of like the spirit of the thing was very patchwork and kind of bouncing off of, musicians bouncing off of the image and the film that he had already kind of made. So it felt like
So
that.
cool.
It was open to interpretation. And so what ended up being fun is by the time he did some in LA, and I think Dean wasn't around, and it was the kind of thing of like, I was like, I got to play with Ray Barbie and John Herndon. It was the first time I'd done that. I think we ended up doing 3 or 4 of those um, trios, which was really
Yeah.
fun for me. I mean, those
That's
were like
amazing.
two heroes of mine, and I was just like, fuck yeah, like let's do this. It was really fun. I
Yeah.
think the first one in Long Beach, and we did one up north, or like up in like Santa Barbara, and then did another one in Santa Monica. But it's really fun. It's just a fun thing to do. Like, those are some of my favorite things to do, is kind of just play improvisationally with people that you don't normally play with.
Oh, that's
I love
awesome.
that. But then Dean and
Did
I did do the one at Zebulon. That was one time Dean and I did that live thing.
and it was just
So,
you and Dean because then you played with John and Dean
oh right,
at Zebulon,
for
but
my
that was for
Zebulon like
Soundfield.
residence. Yeah, that
Right,
was at
right, right.
Soundfield
Okay.
2020. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I released
Which
all
was
those. That
also
was really
amazing.
fun. Thanks, man. You're too kind. The film made it look good. That was great.
Oh, come on. No. That was but I think I was mixing those two up because I'm like, but I know you and Dean did it, but then that makes sense. But yeah, it was amazing to watch that live and watch the movie live as well while you guys are doing the live score.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, the first time we ever did that was with this movie The Bear. It was like a French director. Do you remember this movie from the 80s?
No.
It has like almost no
Uh-uh.
talking in it. Um, Originally, Hadrian from Cinefamily, who's gone on to infamy and has, I think, been canceled from that Cinefamily
Okay.
uh, organization. But he originally contacted me because we knew him through David Kramer and David's partner at Family Bookstore down on
Yeah.
Fairfax.
Yep.
'Cause we were friends with the Family Bookstore people, and then they're like, "Oh, this guy we know is going to do this. He's taking over the silent movie theater." And that has such a crazy story. The silent movie theater originally, the owner, the previous owner, the original owner, was shot and killed by his boyfriend. It was this
Oh
dude.
my
No,
God.
the original
No.
silent movie theater. Oh, that's a
No.
wild crime story. But anyway, Hadrian takes it over, and then they were doing different art things, and we'd been invited to different screenings, for like midnight screenings for just friends and family, different things that they didn't really have rights to show or whatever. It was a kind of
Yeah.
a, like, if you have a movie theater, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I guess. Well,
You just can't
and
sell tickets necessarily.
yeah, so we would go
Yeah.
to like after hours shows there, and I lived on Melrose. I was close, to there, so it was fun to always go and hang out there and see things, see shows. But then he's like, oh, he's like, you should do the thing, where like you play live to a film. And originally I'd picked Milo and Otis. I was trying to think
Okay.
of like films that didn't have a lot of dialogue, and I was like, those like 80s like animal movies
Yeah.
were mostly score. They're almost
Oh,
kind of like
that's
silent
funny.
films. But
Okay.
then I was doing research, and this was like in 2007, and I was like doing the research on like Milo and Otis was a Japanese film, I think, and it didn't really have any kind of like animal oversight. Like animal wranglers. There was no real like legal animal, person on set. So
Yeah.
I think they killed several
Oh
animals,
my
dogs.
god. Oh my god.
I shouldn't laugh, but I think it was the more I looked at it, if you look up Milo and Otis, and it's all out there on like, the Wikipedias and stuff. Anyway, so I was like, okay, let's scratch that. Let's not do that. And then I remember there was this other film, The Bear, that was about this like baby bear who gets adopted by like another bear, and they kind of go on this adventure. And there's these French fur trappers that are trying to kill him. This is kind of set in the like 1800s. And it's really cool because at one point the baby bear like eats a wild mushroom and then like trips out. There's like a
Oh,
claymation
I know.
thing with
Yes.
like, yeah,
I've
right.
seen
That's
that
probably what's
scene.
most
Yeah.
famous for. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the like the butterfly like in claymation and like kind of trips out.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing it to that, and we did a lot of those. We played that I think in LA just for fun, and it got kind of a big response. And then we went up to Seattle International Film Festival. My friends at Sub Pop set that up. Like, oh, are you guys doing weird like live score things? You should do that up here. So we played the film festival in Seattle, and then we did it in New York at the New School.
Oh,
And
amazing.
And then we went to New York and played at the ICA in London there too. And then we did another one in Belgium, like in a big, like kind of like punk squat kind of warehouse thing. It's really
all
fun.
to the bear.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
and again,
amazing.
we didn't really have rights to the bear. They say those little FBI warnings, like, not for public showing, but we didn't care. It was fun.
Well,
I think the film festival probably figured out how to do it. I think it's by some kind of fair use law or something.
Probably for a film festival, yeah, you're able to, for whatever reason. I
Program it,
remember
so
that one. Have you heard about this Disneyland movie that
the
people
one they filmed
shot
inside Disneyland? Yeah.
Yeah, but without people knowing, and then
That's contentious.
But they sent it to film festivals, and they were able to show it at a film festival.
Okay.
But only in private, like, whatever, one of the theaters.
Yeah.
But I've heard it's good. I would hope that that's one of those things that's making the rounds, and that someday someone will go, "Hey, I have that on a hard drive. You want to watch that?"
I saw a music video of like a band that took acid and like filmed themselves on their phones. I think like tripping out in Disneyland, which is not as exciting as like the point of view of them actually, is doing drugs yourself at Disneyland. But like this video of you kind of like falling over, it was the band kind of just like falling over themselves, walking around. Yeah. In Disneyland, it was all right. But yeah, I like all that. Because again, it's not unusual to take photos or videos of you and your family and friends at a large amusement park. So you could get away with it.
Yeah.
But to actually have a script or to try to put a narrative together, that's a whole other idea.
And to get away with it like over multiple days and going back and like making like a love story and I love it. But whatever. Let us
whatever.
See it. I want to see art, man.
Make art. Don't make art. Don't talk to me. Interview me. I don't care.
Don't stop art. It's all we have. Come on. That's all we have. Just give me my art.
At this point. Come on.
I don't care if you have billions of dollars. Just let everybody do their art.
All the more reason if you have billions of dollars to not give a shit what other people are doing.
What do you mean? Like you literally lose billions every day.
Yeah.
Give it up. Give it to someone else.
It's a tax write-off.
Just stop. Stop being an ass.
Stop with all this IP. Come on.
Stop with all this like, I'm so important. I have $1 billion.
Look at me. I'm a CEO.
I have $1 billion.
Blah, blah, blah.
Money's made up. Shut it.
All right. It's a good place to stop it.
Yes.
I will. I'll see you next week. Have a great spring break. Be
awesome.
well, everybody. Write us in at hyphenatehalftime@gmail.com. And, you got your distro kids out there. Go Unions. You got your, Isotopes. I think they're a new sponsor coming on board. Oh, I just sent you 2 emails. One with the receipt from the Amazon. I just bought you a 5-foot Mogami cable. Should be there on Tuesday. Make sure I sent to the PO box. I hope that works.
Yeah. As long as it's USPS, that's perfect.
So. And then I sent you the Thomas Kincaid unseen photos.
Oh, yes. I can't wait.
Everybody go out there, buy yourself a Mogami XLR cable. They're great. And you used to be able to return them like at Guitar Center if they ever broke.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if they still do that. Check your local Guitar Center. I love that
I
Bill
need to go
Burr
to
clip
guitars.
that's gone
Oh my God.
around. Like
It's so
the
good.
saddest men on earth. They're all at Guitar Center. It's true.
The saddest place though is the expensive room of acoustics. That's where a lot of them are. I don't know why.
I follow a number of guitar things on the social media channels, and my favorite one is there's one that just keeps talking about people who I think as employees would often find human shit in the in the expensive acoustic rooms because nobody's in there. People would go in there and just take shits on the floor.
What?
At Guitar Center, if you go into the expensive rooms and no one's in there,
do you think
people just drop their pants and take a shit in the expensive
do you think
vintage
they're
guitar
just
rooms?
So mad? They're just like, you know what? I'll never have a Martin. And
fuck
like,
these people for asking $40,000 for a World War II piece of wood.
There's literally like $450,000 of guitars in here, and I can barely scrape enough money together to get a new set of strings, and this sucks.
Fuck this. Maybe.
Man, I used to. Guitar Center was one of my best photo clients ever for the most amount of years. I shot for them on and off for like 6 or 7 years. No, they were great. The people that worked there were awesome. They always had good ideas. I think that like they always hired good people, like young people in the like corporate, like the art directors and stuff. And they always pitched.
That print catalog was legendary, like that and CCS.
Yeah. Well, and then I worked on the one. Did you see the ones where they started to interview? They actually started to do interviews in it with like Dave Rat.
Yeah.
I shot all like Dave Rat. I shot all that stuff and Questlove and like for the drum like they always wanted to do stuff, but then corporate would be like, you guys, we're trying to make money on guitars. This is like, I love these ideas, but this is just, I don't like, this is not bringing sales up even
Chinese
at all.
Taylor acoustics here. We need
But they always, I mean, trust me, I always got pitched the best stuff. And then by the time it got to the top and we got the decks of what we were going to have to shoot, I was like, well, there's a guitar on white.
Hey,
all right.
Make sure we'll hit that drop shadow on that. Woo.
Yeah.
Edit around that.
Yeah. I mean, we did go up to like, we did some stuff. We shot like in like a vineyard, and we shot some like, I mean, we just like would travel around and shoot people playing guitars and like, hey, we got the acoustic people out in the vineyard. I'm like, I'm here for this. Let's go.
All day long.
Hang out at a vineyard.
Here's my day rate.
A couple days.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was good day rates for a couple of years, and yeah, it's fun.
Awesome. Well, good for you.
But I never.
I don't encourage anybody. Yeah, you haven't really lived until you pooped in the acoustic room.
Because you know what? Unfortunately, it's the person that's getting paid the least that's going to have to clean it up, and that's always a bummer.
Isn't that the metaphor for life?
Go to the. Although even if you pooped in the corporate office, it's still going to be the person that's paid the least that's going to clean it up. So
I mean,
I don't know what to tell you.
If the last 12 months haven't taught us anything, just murder all CEOs. It's the only thing that really works.
We'll X that. We'll X that. We're gonna X that one out.
Yeah,
we're gonna put that bar over your mouth on that one.
Hey, I'm just saying, this is the lessons of what we've been shown on media.
It's
not my opinion. I've just heard it expressed.
Once it happens,
it's been said
once. Tends to make waves
people are saying
industry.
People say
people have said I would never say this
is a beneficial thing to society.
I've
heard it said. I've heard these things.
I would never say
allegedly.
This. Well, this is the one where you're talking about controversy, Randy. Well, let's see
if you've made it an hour and 7 minutes into this podcast where we've talked about changing diapers and.
We started with changing diapers. You know what? It's because we care about our kids.
That's it. That's why you should murder all CEOs.
Well, you know.
Yeah.